Good evening. Good evening to all. I hope all is well with you as it is with me on this day. Tonight, I wanted to get in a conversation a little about love. And the important thing is it starts with you first. Love definitely starts with you. Um, it starts with you first. And part of that is, I think a large part of it is knowing thyself. Knowing thyself, loving thyself so much that you soul search and you seek your truth. What is your truth in life? And what is that emptiness, or what is missing that only you must go on that trip or that travel to find for yourself. And like I said, soul searching is the most important part of it. And I think it's the hardest part of it. And finding your true self, finding out the truth about yourself, things about yourself that you may seek. And the discussion is mostly about your relationship, not only just with yourself, but mostly with that special one. That special one. And I'm going to give my opinion on what I think that special one would look, what it would be like, what that relationship would look like, and what it would be like. I think that the best relationships, in my opinion, start out just as friends first. Just like you've been a friend to yourself first, and then second, you want to share that with someone else. So I think that in your soul searching, you usually can end up along that path running into someone that you just click with, that opposite sex that you just click with, that you can relate to. And it seems like you connect so well that it's almost as if you are soulmates. Sometimes that friendship, not all the time, because sometimes it may flourish into just friendship. Sometimes it can blossom into something more than what you expect. Both of you may not even expect that to happen. So you may just, those that you end up being just friends with, you're going to end up dropping that because it's just a friendship. It's no mutual interest whatsoever. It's no connection. It's like they have their interest, you have your interest. It's like you're working not with just the body and the facade, the looks. You're not working with just the looks. You're getting to know deeply people for who they are within, so that that relationship can exceed far above any physical complexities. Because if you have something in common with that person, especially if you share the same energies, like the same birthdays, and your birthdays are connected, usually the same signs, believe it or not, are usually what connects. And you don't even have to be the same sign. You don't even have to be the same sign. For example, my husband's January, I'm March. So we're just a month apart. So we have that connection. And it's a unique connection because it's like you have all the same, you don't ever have a conflict hardly with decision making, because it's just everything just flows. It goes with the flows. And I mean, I'm serious about these signs and these energies. It's just when you don't have this information or don't know anything about yourself, then I guess we do end up in just put together relationships instead of letting nature take its course in relationships, which is important. The friends first theory or idea, to me, works wonders. It works wonders. It's what adults, our elders been talking about for years. Like, get to know people, get to know them, you know. But it seems like the generation after generation just spun out of control in the relationship area. And, it's just been about looks, how someone looks, how someone, just a selfish kind of thing it has evolved into. Someone commented, because I was watching one of the movies. This is an old movie, and it's about a woman who was married. It's kind of like Waiting to Exhale, but this was a true story about this woman. And someone made a comment that if he cheats on you, if he cheats with you, then he's going to cheat on you. Because I had made that same comment. These are the kind of relationships we see because people just throw themselves together without even taking in consideration all of these important details, these important things. But this lady, it seems like her and her husband married, but everything was about survival. This is a white couple. He cheated on her, and she ended up really going through a rage, and he ended up marrying the woman that he cheated on his wife with. And she was the typical patriarchal. They had the patriarchal family. She put her husband through school. She did everything for him. She took care of the children. She took them to soccer, played sports. She supported her husband. They seemed like they were a team in a way, but, did she really know this man? was she really able to really be friends with him? No, it didn't seem like they had that relationship. It seemed like something was missing. For her to be, hey, S. Wiseman, welcome, lady. For her to be, I know you heard the Lifetime movie. It's an old Lifetime movie. Someone commented on my comment about cheaters and being married, and um, that if he cheats on with you, then he'll cheat on you. Because this woman, she's still in. I don't know if she's still in prison today, but she thought she had a perfect marriage. They were all about the finances. They had, they were living off credit basically, but they were trying to live that high life and take care of their children. And they had a big house. And um, he ended up cheating. He first, I think he was going through a middle age crisis, and he ended up getting a red sports car. I think hopefully you've seen this movie before. It's a true story about this woman. And so, like I was saying, I don't think her and her husband was friends first. Because if they were friends first, even though they seemed like they had that connection, but I think everything was pretty much about finances. It was about finances and trying to keep up appearance or keep up with the Joneses, because she was very, very, she let her husband lead the way. He had a great job, great career. He was, you know, I think a lawyer or something. I think he was a lawyer. And I think his name was Dan. And I forgot what her name is, but she's been on Oprah Winfrey show and all that stuff. But in their relationship, it seemed like they worked as a team. But I think the thing that was missing was that friendship. That friendship, it seemed like. Because if you know somebody so well and you have that connection, they shouldn't change on you like that. There's no way they should just up and change on you like that. And I think what it was is she wanted one thing and he wanted another. He didn't really want what he thought he wanted with her. So he ended up uh, going through the age crisis and cheating, and got him a sports car. And Linda is the girl's name. Uh, Linda is who he cheated. His secretary. He actually, in his office, he had his own secretary. But he kicked that secretary to the side and started giving Linda special treatment. And he um, started getting closer to the new lady who didn't know how to do secretarial work, but he gave her most of the work to do. And the other lady, she quit because of how he was being. He was being very, very like a jerk, let's say. So it wasn't just his wife that had to endure his behavior. It was the women at work as well that saw what he was doing. And that's usually in real life, it's a fact. I've experienced myself where I worked with a guy and he cheated on his wife, and I had to deal with her calling work. And I was close with her, and I didn't know anything about what he was doing, but I knew that it was bothering her, that it put her through so much. You know what I'm saying? And the same there in that relationship. You would think they were friends first, but they weren't friends first. Because friends first is a deeper, deeper relationship. It exceeds all physical um, things. It really does. It really does. It exceeds all this physical, you know, things that get in the way. It's more of the mind and the soul. I think a friendship is all about mind and the soul, because you're getting to know someone's mind and how they think, how, you know, the things, the little things that bother them, the things that make them happy, the things that make them sad. You get to know those deeper things, you know. So what do you think? What do you think? Is it friends first, or just jump in and force the relationship, and just without even getting to know each other, you know, just plan things out? Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, you know. And friendship, I think friendship takes a long time to really get close and get to know someone. um if you don't want unhappiness in your life, you have to think. And this is where a lot of men think that women are not logical. This is where a lot of men think that we don't have logic. You know, when I start talking about how the spiritual works within a relationship. And this is actually science. It's science. It's science. It really is. And mathematics. But they, you know, they don't see it that way. Yes, that's why when you're so right. We're more logical than the men are. And they get so emotional. Yeah, they do. They do. They get so emotional. hmm So if you don't make it just about money and looks, and you get to know a person's heart, you get to know their soul, you realize that you found a pot of gold. You realize you found a pot of gold that, you know, nothing could ever come between it. Nothing can ever come between a relationship like that. Like I said, you getting to know their minds, and that's the most important thing. It's getting to know someone's mind, you know them for who and what they are, and not nothing fakery, no manipulations, no lies, you know, just the truth of who they really are. And only way you can do that, I feel, is through a friendship. And like I said, friendships sometimes exceed time. You know, sometimes in all time, um, you're in that relationship as just friends, but all along you don't realize that it has evolved into something else. You know, you don't realize how it has evolved into and bloomed into something more beautiful, something more solid, something more strong, something more um, cozy, something more homely. more like you're at home, like you found your place, you found your spot, you know. Whereas it all depends on what kind of, how, what, and what energy you go into it with. Are you, you know, your friendship now, during the friendship time, are you utilizing old baggages, old energy, old dirty energy, old clogged up, backed up septic tanks energy? Do you have that stuff with you, carrying stuff with you? Or have you released those things? Or are you in the process of releasing those old things and growing from it and learning from it and moving on, moving forward into where you can have this new relationship bloom, your friendship bloom into something more? Or are you holding on to that so you can't see what you have in front of you is a friend that can be potentially something more? Or are you letting it stop you in your tracks, and are you holding back from it, allowing things to move forward to the next step? You have to think about those things. Energy is something else, though. Energy affects everything, I think. The type of energy you go into things with, the type of energy you're moving with, you know. Because as we know, as we talk about all the time, the sciences in it, and the mathematics in it, is the fact that the energy you give away can recycle back to you either as good energy or bad energy. You know, it's all up to the path and what you choose in life to have. Do you want peace or do you want chaos? If you want chaos, you go the way of a selfish kind of love, which is um, you want that patriarchal situation where you don't want to know what the woman thinks. You just want her to cook, clean, let you dictate, and she has to respect you. And I don't think I've seen that in that relationship with the woman whose husband cheated on her. I don't think I've seen him be a dictator in that. Even though they had a patriarchal, I think the relationship seemed like a balanced relationship. It seemed like that. But in a balanced relationship, that friendship to me is very, very critical. Getting to know someone's deepest, and then they knowing you deeply to the point where you couldn't even conceive harming this person or hurting this person. They both hurt each other. He cheated and she went out and murdered him just because he cheated. That's not no reason. She loved him truly. You got to think about this. If she loved him truly, if she knew him truly, and to think that he's the father of her children. This is a true story about this woman. I forgot her name. Broderick, Broderick, or something like that. So this was the father of her children. So to think that she could go out and harm him in any kind of way is beyond a lot of us. A lot of us couldn't even fathom that. You have the children to think about. And she didn't think about her children. She was just in an obsessive rage of money. And I think it was more about money. It was more about, so that right there tells me that was a toxic kind of relationship. That was a very trying to survive, trying to keep up appearance, trying to keep up to scale, um, economically kind of relationship. There was no love in it, because true love is, like I said, you will know true love when you are in it. You would know it with that soul and that mind connection. Someone who you never ever would, you just equal. You just have that equal. No one's greater, no one's weaker, no one's, you just have that balance. And that's what was missing. That's why I like these Lifetime movies and stuff. We learn so much every day. You learn so much. And I mean, I was just like, I was obsessed with that story. I kind of, it was a, that story was, it was one, because the woman, and she was very much, it's sad. She, you know, you really feel something for her, but at the same time, she murdered her husband, and that was, yeah, it's, girl, I'll be catching them as much as I can, but they have to be the fresh new ones. They have to be the fresh new ones. But you can never take that back, and it's a true story. These true stories be getting me the most. It's like you can never turn back the time and change things, you know. And then, she doesn't have no remorse for killing her children's father, who was a good father, but he just wasn't the one for her. She made a mistake by thinking in her mind that she can have this dream life, finances. Yes, it's a true story, lady. It's a true story. Matter of fact, I thought I sent it to you because I was so obsessed with that story for years. Ooh, I'm back. Yeah, call me tomorrow. I'm sorry. Am I boring you? I don't mean to. But girl, I feel like, after today, packing up, getting me a pink colored house, packing up, finding a farmland, acres, and just saying, see ya to the world. It's just crazy out here these days. It's so crazy. But you said it's not me. I felt like I felt like it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I felt like that today. But anyways, I agree. It's just sometimes, we feel like we can clarify the world or give the world clarity, and it's not true. We can't. Um, no, we don't know everything, and we don't know what others think and how others are, or anything like that. But you know, with that said, I won't hold you too long. You can go to sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna be going to sleep in a few minutes here to myself. I'm like you. I just got in from. It's raining. Is it raining up there in Maryland? You said you was talking to your TN friend, Tennessee friends. Yes, girl. Yes, I want land, and I'm gonna build me a pink house for my feminine intuition and all the insulting things that it seems like men don't like about us. I can't help but be a woman, a natural woman, and happy and proud, but and hated, unfortunately, hated by a lot of things in this world. So just pack our pink houses and go be pink ladies or build pink lady houses with beautiful architecture and just live out our femininity naturally, not having to pay bills, not having to get our own water. Instead of being CEOs to businesses, we can get our own water system. We can get our own electricity going, get our own land tax free, and just live. At least, we deserve that much, right? You can see me doing consulting. Well, I'm trying to be a consultant. I try to be a consultant, but no one, no one rings my phone. Um, I don't know. I really don't know. But, go far, far away from all the men, because, obviously men in this space have issues on this planet now. Not all men. I'm going to say all on my channel, but the other guy on his channel, he dictates what you can say and what you can't say. So, even though dictatorship can work, but I think within reason, definitely within reason. Um, I had a friend, I forgot what his name was. He was Indian, and he would tell me about dictatorship, that it wasn't a bad thing, you know. But like I said, the best relationship, in my opinion, I don't know about the world, but the world is going to go around and around the way it's going to go, regardless. And keep spinning. But in my opinion, friendship first is probably the greatest relationship one can ever build. I mean, I've even seen another movie. Let me tell you about this other movie I've seen. It was called, oh, what was it? The Morning something. But anyway, They had their third child, and their third child ended up having autism. He was born with autism. But their friendship and their age, they were older couple. They had two younger girls, but they were, you can tell, um, they had prepared themselves, educated. They were very educated, and her husband had his own business, and he ended up, for the love of the child, because they wanted to work with this child, because this was the early years when people didn't know much about autism. But this couple had the most beautiful relationship I've ever seen. It was such as if, I mean, when they got mad, when one of them got mad, they knew how to handle it. And they both would jog. This is another true story. This is another true story. And the father, even though he ran his own business, he read up and researched. He read up and researched autism. He did extensive study on autism. Every college, university study that came out, he was on it. Then him and her came up with an idea, because after they researched and went to see these centers for autism and seeing how they would work with the children and stuff, they found out that they weren't working too good with the children, that they were neglecting the children. So what they did was, they didn't want their son to ever have to deal with that. So they knew with their love, they could come up with a system in the house, in their home, on getting the son to come out of where he was. The mother, he let the mother, because she didn't work, but she had two other girls, little girls. He let the mother, she was at home, and he would record and write down everything, take pictures every of the son, because all he knew how to do was rock and just stare. But they wanted to find a way to reach this kid. So they worked together as a team. And don't you know, with their love, their teamwork, and beautiful relationship that they had with each other, regardless of the hard, tough times, the stressful days, you know, it was no patriarchal, even though, it has to be a sense of that, because a man is a man, and he's going to get treated like that naturally, just being him. He didn't have to beat his chest. He didn't have to beat his chest with her. They were friends. They were lovers. They were family. They were connected. They were everything. And that energy spilled off into a difficult child that was so hard to reach. They finally were able to reach him after days and days and weeks and months of the mother just sitting there with the boy and trying to connect to him, letting him know that she's there. And he snapped out of that autism and became normal, but then he went back. So they were all like down and low. They had to start all over again. They had to start all over again. So, resilience, with that, they bounced back into the mode of, we have to get back at it, not give up. They had a faith, hope, and love on their side. So they did it over again, and he came back again. He came back. The son came back. And he stayed. He stayed because of that beautiful relationship they had. They were able to make that work and get their son out of that state of just rocking. And he went and he saw an older kid that was like him at the end. And he went to talk to the older kid. And unfortunately, the older kid was in a center with a nurse. And the nurse was like, "Oh, he can't talk to you. He can't talk back to you." But he knew, because he handed the older kid that was autistic a balloon. And don't you know, he reached for that balloon and took it. So he could communicate, he could understand. But a lot of times, these, in those days, that's how it was. It was tough in those days. But with their beautiful relationship, they actually got their son healthy and out of that state. Man, they just had that able to talk, able to see, able to connect. Um, it was incredible. But like I said, that's nothing like it's nothing like getting to know someone's mind and heart and soul first, and letting them know your heart, mind, and soul. Definitely over all of this nonsense, because nonsense will give will give birth to nonsense, but love and beautiful energy will give birth to love and beautiful energy, and will also make sickness healthy again, make you healthy again. So, with that said, I'm not going to hold you guys too long because I know that S. Wiseman, she wants to get to sleep, and I know I'm going to get to sleep. So, thank you for commenting. Thank you for being here. I wish I had a panel tonight, but that's okay. I understand that totally. It's late at night. So, with that said, true love, real peace, the higher self within, the soul. Until next time, peace.